Hey, this is Marjorie, and today's episode is a story all about money and hopefully may inspire you. And this is for a newfound friend of mine named Elita. And I met Elita, we met online through a biogeometry group. And biogeometry, for those of you that don't know, is all about learning how to work with ether and what to most of modern humanity would be invisible forces, earth grid lines, and things like that, right? And oh, there's an event coming up, and I said, are you going to go? And she said, no, I've got money problems. And I said, well, can I help you with your money problems? Because I actually have this project to help a dozen people become millionaires. And she said, yeah, but you know, is there any way I can use our spiritual work to do this? And I said, you know, I don't know. I mean, I'm mostly, you know, this is more just logic-based, intuitive, but, you know, like I'm an investor. I've always been really good with money and making money and investments. So anyway, she said she really had a hard time with money. And it comes from she believes it might be a Catholicism problem with money blocks, and at least she's aware of it, right? And she felt like there was some problems with having a lot of money. And I said, well, let me tell you this story. And I said, I'll just record it for everybody. And so this story is for you too, as well as Elita. And so a few years ago, I was taking a class with the Monroe Institute with a man named Joe Gallenberger on telekinesis, right? So this was a class on how to, you know, bend a spoon with your mind, or you know, roll dice and be able to affect the outcome of the dice, or you know, whatever. And Joe does some pretty cool stuff. He takes like groups of people to Las Vegas, and they like affect the outcome at craps tables and things like that. It sounds like just a hoot. I want to go with him sometime. Anyway, so we're doing this class, and the money issues came up, of course, in that group. And so Joe was talking to people, and he told this story, and I'm going to retell you Joe's story. So the story is he was a young man and starting to use the power of intention. He was traveling a lot, getting on a lot of airplanes. And being a young single man, his top priority was to sit next to a beautiful woman. And he said he would start, you know, just using the power of intention, and sure enough, he's sitting next to all kinds of just gorgeous women. Well, eventually, of course, he finds a mate and gets married. And then so, you know, having an intention of sitting next to a beautiful woman on an airplane is no longer a big priority for him. And so he changes his intention to sit next to somebody who could have a really big impact on his business. And so he's, you know, doing that. And sure enough, he's sitting next to people where he's, you know, having an impact on his business, and his business is improving. And eventually his business gets successful enough that he's no longer as motivated by that. And he said he started to really want to, he said the next time, he said when he started to get onto the plane, he said, could you put me next to somebody that really needs some help? And so he started finding himself sitting next to like maybe a single mom, and he says, you know, I'll hold the baby while you get this going, or somebody who was elderly that needed help, or what, you know, and I'll sit in the middle instead of the aisle, whatever, you know. And he started to help it. And I said, Joe, where are you at with it now? And he says, now, before I get on the plane, I talk to the universe and I said, can you just please sit me wherever I will do the most good for everybody on the plane? And he says, don't worry in the beginning if your motivation is money. That's totally fine. Because when you figure that out and you master that, you know, you'll progress. It's a natural force. It's a natural desire. Your desires are given to you by God. Don't, you know, try to deny them. And I thought, what a really, really beautiful story. He said, you'll move past that. You know, don't let it block you. Go ahead and be successful with it. So Elita, I really hope that helps you in some way on your spiritual journey, and as well as your financial journey. And for those of you who are saying, well, Marjorie, how are you going to help people become millionaires? And I've talked to you many, many times on this channel about two investments that are foundational for the future, that are just hugely important, and they're very simple. I can go into them in more details, and one of them is physical silver, right? I've been encouraging you to buy physical silver. I really recommend, if you're American, buy the pre-1965 dimes or quarters. They're 90% silver, 10% copper. They're minted by the US government, so they're legal tender. You know, they're just fantastic coins. Get them in your own hand, you know, put them in the can and bury them in the backyard, or do whatever you do. Do not have anybody else holding them. You want them in your physical possession, under your own control, right? Don't buy any of those ETFs or any of that stuff. Buy the real stuff and have it in your possession. And the other is a cryptocurrency called Theta. And Theta will be huge in I'd say in about 2 years. It's going to be a part of every single person's life on this planet. And it is, I follow Bix Weir. Bix, I want to give you a shout out. He's the one who introduced me to Theta. It basically, what it does is a way via software is to interconnect all the computers on Earth, and you can share your computer while you're not using it, and you'll actually get paid for your computer usage when you're not using it, for your broadband and also for your CPU. Anyway, Theta, T-H-E-T-A, the Theta network. I can talk more about it. But anyway, those are the two investments I highly, highly recommend. I mean, if you're looking for 1,000x, 10,000x return, you know, in the next year or two, those are the two things to invest in. Pretty simple. Even if you've only got $50, even if you've only got $2, you can go down to a pawn shop and buy a single silver dime, right? And actually the Theta tokens right now are only about $2 a token. So we're not talking about huge amounts of money, but they could completely be a huge importance to you in you know, we got bank failures happening again. Like it's not going away. You know, they band-aided all that stuff up. It's coming, right? So you definitely want to protect yourself financially. Anyway, and the other thing you want to do, okay, you guys know this, so you know the drill. You've been on my channel. Growing food, it's like printing your own money. It really is. Actually, it's better than printing your own money. You know, you can see my backyard here. I've got squashes, tomatoes, rabbits, fruit, bananas, guanabanas. You know, I got all kinds of food growing right here. And this isn't even a quarter-acre lot, and I'm producing just tons and tons and tons of food here. So go to backyardfoodproduction.com. I will definitely show you how to grow your own food. Pick up some silver, please. And if you're crypto savvy, pick up some Theta. Okay, talk to you all later. This is Marjorie. Oh, how do we stop this?